All right, y'all, we are back to talk about episode 2 of Love is Blind Ohio. So let's just dive right into it. We start the episode off with Elisa. I'm sorry, I still can't remember how to pronounce her name. It turns out she was hollering at the end of the first episode because she accidentally put nail glue in her eye. I would have been hollering too because that sounds terrifying. Just as I believe she mentioned, she was scared of like messing up her eyesight, losing her eyesight. That would have been my first thought. I definitely would have been freaking out. But she's good. She went to the hospital. They flushed her eye. So all is well, thankfully. Whew. Okay, then we move on to Vic and Christine meeting for the first time. And just as I suspected, the attraction was there. I can tell Vic is definitely a words of affirmation kind of guy because he was very verbally expressive, which isn't a bad thing. And Christine surely didn't seem to mind it. So it was pretty lovely to see him like just giving her all these affirmations and again being vocal about his feelings in the moment. It was really sweet and I think a bit different. I'm gonna come back to that thought because something about that is like, is it different, or is it that he's so like not nonchalant but he's so like chill yet expressive at the same time? It's kind of interesting, like his demeanor is so like laid back as if he wouldn't talk as much as he does. I don't know, I'm still processing this. But they seem to genuinely like each other and be attracted to each other, so we're doing good so far. We then go to a scene where Emma is talking to the girls, explaining that she feels gaslit. I'm confused. She said she felt invalidated by him, and him being, who was she talking to? Steven. And I'm trying to comprehend things. I'm trying to remember because I still don't understand why she got in her feelings, to be honest. I don't know. To be honest, I'm a little bit confused by Emma's response and reaction to that conversation with Steven. Perhaps I am missing something. If I am missing something, let me know in the comments because yeah, I could very well be not registering something that happened in the conversation. But we also see Emma opens up to Mike about her fears of carrying a child due to her being adopted, so being unaware of different things she could be carrying as a mother, different like maybe traits that wouldn't be beneficial to the child. She also opens up about her surgeries on her arm and leg. Mike, this is Mike by the way, is very supportive, though he was initially nervous about her lack of wanting kids. But again, when she explains everything to him, he seems very calm, very reassuring, extremely supportive. So that was nice to see. Mike then opens up about being a premature baby. So he actually had some struggles when he was a kid, and I believe he said he stopped breathing for a little bit, so his grandma calls him like a miracle baby or something to that extent. I'm paraphrasing. So that was a nice thing for them to I want to say bond over, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not really that invested in any of her relationships just yet. But along with her opening up to Mike, she also opens up to Connor, who, when we left things off, she said she was leaning more toward out of Steven, Mike, and Connor. She's leaning more toward Connor at this point. So, like I said before, I'm not really invested in any of her relationships just yet, even though I am invested in her story as an individual and her journey. Let's move on, shall we? We all know at this episode, well, if you didn't watch, I'll tell you now, Jordan and Amber end up getting engaged. Amber is the woman who has the 7-year-old daughter, and Jordan, let me flip through my notes. I'm trying to give some. Jordan is the guy who likes to eat. That's like his descriptor right now. He's a foodie. He likes to cook. I like to eat, so, I definitely felt him on that. I like to cook and I like to eat. But one thing that stood out in this episode is how he mentioned during the interviews for the show, having a kid was like a deal breaker for him. So I want us to keep our eyes out on how he truly responds to the idea of being a dad to someone who is already in existence, not a kid a kid who has not come from him. Because for you to say that was an absolute no and then to change your mind, people absolutely do change. And I can imagine being so connected to someone that you're like, this relationship is so beautiful. I could see myself being the father of their kid, right? There's a small percentage of me that feels like that change is possible in a way that actually sticks, but a larger part of me feels like that is a really big red flag. So we'll just have to see what comes of that. But again, Jordan and Amber are engaged, and I'll come back to that in a moment. So other things we see in this episode, we see Tyler and Kevin talking, and they are opening up to each other more. Tyler continues to express how she is willing to make changes in her life for her husband, and I respect. We got cut off there, but I'm back. As I was saying, we hear Tyler just reiterating how she's willing to make sacrifices for her man, and I respect that. Kevin is a little bit more apprehensive about that. He's more empathetic and he wants to give as well as take. So he wants to find some sort of way to meet in the middle. So I like that about him. But at the same time, I wonder if he's like me, where like you can't allow yourself to feel guilty for other people's choices, especially when you also make sacrifices for people sometimes. So it's like when someone wants to do something for you, let them do it. Like, you have to be able to receive. And I wonder if he's one of those people who has trouble receiving because they don't want to be takers in this life. They don't want to just take from people. So it's like that desire to be mindful, but sometimes you can be like mindful to a fault a little bit. You get what I mean? Okay, hopefully you get what I mean. But yeah, Kevin also opens up about when he was 18 and his mother almost died, essentially the day she became an amputee. So again, you just see Tyler and Kevin continuing to bond and develop that emotional connection with each other. We also see Kevin talking to Kia, my apologies, Kia. And Kia really started to grow on me this episode naturally because we're learning more about her. We're getting to see her personality more. And I like that she's level-headed in a sense of like, she just wants the real, she wants the honest. So she's just in the know and she's not surprised by things that come up. So it's kind of funny. Initially, Kevin was saying he is leaning more towards someone else or like other people when he was talking to Kia. But later on, toward the end of the episode, we see that shift of Kevin telling Tyler he is interested in someone. And so now the choices are becoming a little bit more tricky for him, with him like unexpectedly developing feelings for someone, and she did not handle it in the best way. She says she wants a man who is more essentially sure of her, and you really see the juxtaposition in the way the two women handled things, because again, Tyler was a little bit more frustrated with that, and maybe because they spent more time together developing a connection, whereas Kia was more open-minded in a sense of, hey, it's been 6 days, I understand you may not have a solid choice yet, you're still exploring people, you're still getting to know people. She even talked about how sometimes she thinks people speak too soon and even jump the gun on making choices instead of allowing themselves time. And I just really appreciated how level-headed she is, because when I watch things like this, or even when I tap into Pop the Balloon and people want people to make decisions so quickly, it's kind of like, I get not wanting to be second choice, but at the same time, like, can you allow people a moment to think and to take things in if you want them to make rational, like truly informed, thought out decisions? It's like, how can you rush that when it's been 2 minutes or 60 seconds or 5 days, you know? The experiment is already moving fast enough. It's like, in the moments where we can breathe and take our time a bit to make choices, can I be afforded that? And then again, you know, I know what it's like to really like someone. I mean, I am a queer woman. I know what it's like to like someone rather quickly, and you just kind of want what you want at a certain point. So I guess we'll see where this goes. All right, let's see. Yeah, essentially, I just get the thought that Kia is a very open-minded, receptive person, and I appreciate that. And I also liked what she said about the watch and her relationship with her dad, and letting go of waiting for the perfect time for things and just being in the moment and putting her best foot forward as much as possible, instead of, again, thinking of that whole, like, the perfect time before you do something, before you make certain choices, yada yada yada. I liked that conversation. I guess the only place to leave things now is going back to Tyler and Kevin. As I said earlier, she's essentially hurt by not being the number one choice. So she kind of walked out on him on their last date, which is toward the end of the episode, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe she walked out. So, if I had to guess, I feel like Kevin still... Wait, but then I'm trying to remember who was in the previews. I feel like I saw Kia in the previews and not Tyler. Or did I see both of them? Because in my mind, Kevin is probably going to choose Tyler. But I guess I'll find out soon enough. Outside of that, the episode ended with Jordan and Amber getting ready to meet each other. If I had to guess, I believe they are going to be physically attracted to each other. But like I said before, we will see. I will dive into the next episode and check back in with y'all soon. Later.